Are you guys seeing all this massive weather rolling in? I think I'm gonna have to wait. There's no way around it. Riding it like this would be a nightmare. Alright. Go back inside for now. Alright. Weather looks better already. A little bit of a delay to the day, but it does happen sometime. Today I was gonna finish 2 sections, so it might be a really long day, but we'll find out how long it takes to get over all the passes. It's kind of sad that they call this the Heart Loop. I mean, it is not easy necessarily, but this is the whole point of the Colorado BDR. It's this section right here, so it'd be really bad to miss it. So from here we're gonna jump over to Cinnamon. Got all geared up in the morning to leave it around 7. Looked over the mountains, a massive storm front moving in, and shortly, and I had the bike already, everything put on, so as soon as I went back inside, lightning storm went through in the morning too, which is a little bit unusual, but so the weather sometimes is in Colorado in the summer. So I'm like 2 hours delayed now, but could be worse. Alright, and we're leaving Lake City for today. Always a lovely place to visit. It's amazing how quickly the weather changes though, because just honestly, a few minutes ago there was a massive lightning storm coming through, and now the skies are blue and it's beautiful. Everything is still wet from the rain, but as long as it's just on the ground and not in the air, we're good. Might make things just a little bit more slippery, but the terrain here is not really that impacted by rain. And we're off to Cinnamon. So the passes that we're going to do today, and I think I got them all in order, but so starting out with Cinnamon, gonna be fairly easy. Then we'll be going over California, which that's gonna be probably the biggest challenge of the day. California turns into hurricane really fast, so similar pass honestly. Then we go to over Corkscrew, which coming from the side we're coming, there's a short section which is definitely a bit of a scramble. Then we'll do Ophir, and I think those are the 5 major ones that we have today. I think there might be another one on the way to Dolores, but those are more like high meadow passes, not like peaks or anything like that. I'm really looking forward to today. This is the Colorado BDR. This is the right day. There will be some challenge to it. I think we're accidentally on the wrong side of the lake, but it's both just road going around it, and they'll meet up there again. So official BDR road is on the other opposite side of the lake, but from here you have a little bit of a better view. Yeah, this would be the other road coming out here, and here it starts. Already with some landslides. Since we are doing at least 5 major passes today, I have 5 drone batteries, so I'm gonna try to preserve them and not use them on the lower stuff like this, just so that they're ready when we go up to altitude. and those passes. But my hope is to do really good drone footage today without incidents, so fingers crossed. Kind of in a shady spot right now from the clouds, but up there you can see the mountains and the sun peeking out. That's exactly where we'll be heading. But we're definitely starting to ascend now. I think the last time I was up here was in 2022 with my brother, a similar time of the year actually. We wanted to ride the Colorado BDR, at least piece of it, starting out in Lake City. But we got into a hail and sleet storm going up the mountain here, and then we had to camp in a little campground just outside of Silverton. And then his dog at home got really sick and we had to abort the trip and just ride it back out. So we never got to do a lot of this area. We came back here, I mean, we've been here numerous times. We've done Black Bear, Imogene, like all of the big passes, even some like gnarly stuff that you're not gonna find on the BDR. But it's been a while since I've been riding out here. What an incredible view from up here. There's some good drops too. And yes, I do enjoy riding near the ledge. Usually trail is better because people are so scared of being near the ledge, so the nicer line is usually near the ledge. But obviously I only ride it when I can see there's nobody ahead of me. So this road is easily Subaruable. I don't remember the final switchbacks well enough to say that you can do those, but it's not one of the difficult passes. And once you come down from Cinnamon, you can take the road through Animas Forks directly into Silverton. But Animas Forks is kind of like right in the middle of all the trails. It's a little ghost town. From there you go up over California. You can go like towards Engineer, into Silverton, and there's so many iconic passes that all come out in the same area. Oh shit, that was a massive drop. That was very washed out on the other side. Oh, glad I didn't go over the handlebars. And I just didn't see it in time to gas it. I don't know, it was like a sheer 90-degree drop for a couple of feet. Just do a quick GoPro adjustment up here once the trail mellows out a little. The front one is shifting. Alright, got my trusty Leatherman. Okay. Screw must have just come loose over the past few days. Alright, we're good to go. Got a little water crossing here. We're getting closer towards the top of this pass, or where the switchbacks start, and we're gonna have to really go up. So I'm trying to see if when I can deploy the drone, because right now too much tree cover. Go through a little bit more trees, I guess. Alright, I think it's time for the drone here. Alright, got the drone. This time I'm being sure to back up the footage after every flight, just in case, God forbid, I would lose it somewhere, that I don't lose all of the footage. I typically do that after all the really cool flights. I think this one came out pretty nice. Oh, look at that beauty in front of us. It's exactly where we're heading. That is Animas Forks at the bottom here, and then California going up in the distance. And this is the main road I was talking about down there that runs to the left. That one is super easy. I mean, anything can ride it into Silverton as a bailout. So if you're not brave enough to take on California or some of the other passes, there's your bailout. Alternatively, you can go back to Lake City via Engineer, which is up when we come up here and then to the right, which at this stage you've done the hardest part of Engineer coming from the URA side, so that would also be not difficult anymore. It might be that Corkscrew is honestly the easiest pass out of the bunch. There's some switchbacks on it. They're steep, but at least it's not like ledgy or loose rocks like this. But Engineer would be straight from here, and all the hard stuff would be done already. Would be easier going up Engineers than going back up Cinnamon. But we're taking a left and going down to Animas Fork. This is a great BDR riding. Alright, this is the little ghost town of Animas Forks here. Snap a quick picture and then we'll keep going. We'll go up a little ways on California before the drone comes out. It's a little climb to get there. Like I mentioned, California, going towards the top, is really the only one I'm sweating a little bit, but let's see, maybe I'm misremembering it. I don't know. It's just that one right-hand turn is very much seared into my memory. I made it last time without crashing, but I remember thinking like, ooh, that's a little close, because you couldn't see and it was pretty steep and ledges and stuff. Those always make for the good stories, right? The ones that you can remember are the ones that really challenge you. But California would be much easier coming from the other side. Same with Corkscrew. Because Corkscrew has one little like downhill switchback that I will have to go up. The other, so from the other direction, will have to go down. And same thing California, the hard part you go down, so then you can see it pretty easily. I've been in this little place. It's kind of cool to see. Ouray, this entire area, I'm just going to refer to as Ouray. Great area has so many little old abandoned mining shacks. These are obviously the major ones that are on the major routes, but if you go down some of the unmarked trails and just off the beaten path, you can find all kinds of little cabins and huts and mines that have been abandoned. Good place to go hide in when the afternoon thunderstorms come out. Honestly, the best thing you can do is come here without luggage and just have like really good maps and just go ham and just explore. Look at a few trails you want to do, but then there's incredible like high exposure trails just above Silverton too, looking down to the town. Take you way over 13,000 feet. Way sketchier than anything like this, but a lot of fun. And of course there's Black Bear, which I've done it 2-3 times on the bike, 2-3 times in the Jeep, but it never gets old. If I hadn't done it so many times already, I would do that instead of Ophir, because it takes you right down to Telluride. So if you haven't done it and you're a decent rider, skip Ophir, do Black Bear. It is the iconic trail in Colorado. It doesn't get more iconic than that. But it is, well, not super difficult. Honestly, the only difficult part is on the downhill. There's 100 yards maybe of really sketchy stuff, but it's just really bouncy big rocks, nothing that you're gonna fall off the ledge of or so. And then the first switchback going down to Telluride is pretty tight and steep, but other than that, it's just high exposure. So if you're not afraid of heights, it's amazing. If you are afraid of heights, it will be your worst nightmare. But you can do it in trucks, so I mean, you have plenty of space on the bike. Trail is picking up a little bit on the difficulty. Nothing crazy yet. Looks like there might be still some snow up there too. Switchbacks. Alright, let's do it. very steep. No, this one is fine too, it's just very steep. But we're coming up to the top of California, and look at this insane view down to the right, that massive drop. Absolute insanity. And this is California, the tippy top. And we're just gonna keep straight going for the drone battery over a hurricane. So, but you can see down there, gets a little steep too. So really the challenge then now, at least with California, is that it's just steep in places. That's the biggest piece. A lot of little marmots out on that Hurricane Pass sign. Well, Hurricane Pass is the one to the left that's coming up, but like the street sign with that lake. Top of Hurricane Pass here. I love Colorado. I mean, how can you not be absolutely blown away by this area? Make sure your ABS is off. Alright, so we completed Cinnamon, California, Hurricane, and now we're making our way to Corkscrew. Corkscrew is beautiful because you can see the Red Mountain, and it's just one of the prettiest ones. It's not as extreme as this, but it has a beautiful red coloring. You can kind of see it in the distance already. Alright, I'm gonna let the drone go here. We are on the way to Corkscrew. Let's go up there. If I recall, it was just pretty quickly here, the switchbacks, because we're already close to the top where it gets a little iffy. Well, this isn't good. My drone disappeared and I'm not sure where to. And I don't hear it. It's a very bad sign. Alright, looking for the drone, and I found it here. So I wrote, don't know what condition it is in, but let's see. Don't know if it crashed or if it landed. Oh, It definitely crashed and is broken. So much for the drone. Thing is. Alright, drone crashed, broken, but we're in the middle of a slope going up Corkscrew, so we're going to keep going for now. Nothing we can do about it anyways. Still got some passes to do, but I'm grateful I got to film the majority of the trip. Not sure why it crashed. I think it must have just fallen out of the sky, if I'm being honest. Because there's nothing here to run into. But I'll look through the footage tonight. We'll have a better idea of what happened. But for now, I'm not going to let it ruin my day. For now, we're going to keep fighting our way up Corkscrew, which is an absolutely stunning pass. I wish I could have filmed it with the drone. But it is what it is. At least it wasn't down on the side, like on a slope where it would have been major climbing, because we are at 12,000 feet plus, and probably would have killed me to get it. Oh, and bike gear. I think this was that turn that I was talking about. But let's see. Sure enough, this is that f***ing turn. Legs were too short. So, future Nico here. I thought the drone actually fell out of the sky, and it turns out it didn't. I sent in the drone to repair to Skydio. They looked through the logs and some of the footage, which was corrupted, so I couldn't look at it myself. But turns out an eagle took out the drone. So I guess it was just hovering long enough that it upset the eagle for some reason, and it decided to attack my drone. So who knew? But drone is fixed again, so any future video will be back up and running. Alright, the problem is my throttle is stuck now. But I gotta get up there to fix it. But it's not retracting on its own. So it's really tricky to drive. But we're almost up there. Gonna have to do a little trail repair. Alright, to show you what I did, gas pedal was stuck, so from taking a hit right here, just loosened those bolts here and this, and just shifted that by like 1 millimeter or 2 to the right, and that freed up the gas again. A pretty straightforward fix. Alright. We are on Corkscrew, and we are going to keep going. So, this is the 4th major pass today, and I think actually my handlebars are bent. Yep, sure enough. Handlebars are off center. Well, let's get off Corkscrew and then we'll deal with that. It's not a major bend, just slightly. So I'm not sure if it's the actual handlebar that's bent or if it's just the front suspension. It's a lot of whack, but let's focus on that beautiful, insane display in front of us for right now. What a beauty. I think earlier the wipeout was predictable. It's just a tip over because I couldn't get my right foot down enough because the bike's so tall. And I was kind of still thinking about the drone, to be honest. But one drop on the strip so far, really can't complain. But as you can see, what I said earlier, the switchbacks here are a little steep, but they are perfectly graded, so really not much to worry about. If anything, it's more difficult coming down because it's a little slippery. But uphill, easy peasy. Steering is definitely not doing great right now. I wonder if something else is loose. Well, let's make it off the pass and then we can take another look at things. Nice having this little turnout here to turn around. I am really warm. Working too much. It's a little difficult going down because the steering is so crooked. It's just kind of awkward. But on the fall, the only thing that hurts a little bit is my right elbow. It's a little scratched up, but other than that, nothing. So far, who knows, maybe I'll hurt in a little bit. But it was just tipping over while standing, so luckily not major impact. I mean, it does seem a little bit crooked, but it doesn't at the same time. Oh, steering dampener fell out. Wow, that's strange. I've never seen that happen. You see that little shaft for the steering dampener? Looked like it hopped out for some reason. Alright, gotta adjust that. Let's do it. So, the steering dampener, this is the little shaft that goes in here, and it's supposed to stay like this. Problem is the rubber grommet here slid too far up, so I'm gonna have to slide it back down. Alright, so the steering dampener is adjusted. Alright, and we're gonna keep going. Gotta finish going down Corkscrew. See, steering is, yeah, it's definitely crooked. I don't know. Let's get down the road and then we'll make a decision how to proceed. But steering dampener at least is put back in. That just makes it really awkward to hold the steering wheel because it's off by a few degrees. Nothing major, and I cannot tell by just looking at it if the whole forks and everything have just twisted or if the steering has actually been bent. It's drivable, just a little awkward. But with the steering being bent, with the gas being stuck, feel like it must have just completely fallen full force right on the tip of the handlebar to kind of offset that whole thing. Look at this view though, pretty incredible. We still got a lot of riding to do today. It's I think around 11ish or so, 11:15, and we have done 33 miles so far. So not great. The whole section here is I think 60 some miles, and then the next one would be adding another 60-70 miles to Cortez. Alright, got a little washout down here. Alright, so from here on, it's just a little bit of a forest track to go down to the road, like maybe another mile or so. Seriously, let's see, yeah, that's all there really is left here. So I'm going to turn the cameras off for the time being, because they are overheating from running without air on, so they can charge up a little bit. I forgot about this little section here, that's really pretty before we get off of Corkscrew eventually, down to the road. Alright, made it off of Corkscrew. So from here we'll pick up the trail to Ophir, which I actually have never done, so I can't really speak on its difficulty, how long it's gonna take, any of that stuff. We're just gonna keep going for now. Might grab like a little lunch break. But riding on the road will be a good test to see how bent the handlebars are too. Yeah, the whole thing is shifted. And looks like it's not just the handlebar, it's the triple clamps, it's the whole thing. So probably the fork has shifted a little bit. I could stop, loosen up the fork and just untwist it. I'll probably try that once we get to the next trailhead or like a little shady area. Alright, looks like there's a turn-off section here for a little trail before Ophir. Really hard to see from the road. Okay, yeah. But it seems like it's just running parallel to the road. But this might be a good stopping point here real quick, so I can see if I can fix the fork a little bit, straighten it out. So that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so here's what I did. I, on the steering, opened up both sides of the triple clamp and the steering stem nut down here. Moved it around, relieved some pressure in case it was twisted. So I don't know if it's gonna help or not. Might be an epic failure, but it's the only thing I knew to do right in the moment, because this issue has actually never happened to me in the past. But Let's give it a try. It just seemed like that would make sense. Seems straighter. Well, gotta wait till we're on a straight piece. Well, it might not be 100% perfect, but it's definitely better. And once we got on a road, I can tell for sure. On the trail is always a little tough to tell. But it would be easy now to be frustrated and you just took a fall, that the drone crashed, that the steering is like messed up, the throttle was messed up, and just bail out, go to Durango, go to Telluride or wherever and call it a day. But it's all part of the adventure, right? Might be arriving in the dark, but we're gonna be arriving one way or the other. Embrace the suck. These are the moments you're gonna remember of your trip. For now, I'm gonna enjoy this little forest trail here. Oh wow, that's beautiful here. Oh, I thought we were gonna go left. There's a trail to the right. Nice old mining buildings here. Got about 28 miles left to Telluride, which might not sound like a lot, but considering it's about the same distance we've done so far today. But it is a beautiful day and the most beautiful part of the Colorado BDR. Let's just enjoy it. Oh, nobody around? No, maybe they have engine issues or something. I also have a Wrangler. I could have maybe helped, but nobody here. Very pretty through here. Never done this little sidetrack. Glad I didn't miss it. Or it's only like a mile or two long. We're gonna cut back onto the $1 Million Highway. And I will be able to say how straight my steering is now. Alright, moment of truth. Pretty damn straight. Guess that fixed it. Give myself a pat on the back. This right here is the exit to Black Bear. Oh, how I love that pass. If you're a good rider and you want to thrill, do that. It's stunningly beautiful. And it will definitely get you pumping on the way down. The way up is pretty casual. Just look how beautiful this area is. Unbelievable. Alright, we're coming up to the turn off for Ophir. The last major pass of the entire trip. And I haven't been on Ophir, which I've been on pretty much every single pass here in the San Juans, like for Jeep or bikes, but last one that eludes me. Danger explosives. Alright. Going up this pass. which is one of the signature passes of the entire Colorado BDR. If you're coming from the south, so starting the BDR the normal way, this will be your first major pass and major like challenge of that BDR. A little marmot. Hello, guy. Dumpy. The weather's rolling in too. I'll try to beat the storm. Looks like we're already halfway up to peak after only a couple of minutes riding. So I assume then the downhill side is the longer side. Another switchback. Well, you can see the top from here. So this side, honestly, easiest one so far. Easier than Cinnamon even. Got another biker. I haven't seen really any today. Yeah, very easy riding from this side to the top at least. We'll see how the downhill goes. It took us less than 15 minutes to get up here from the road. Nice. Ophir Pass, 11,789 feet. Alright, so from here, going down to Telluride, 17 miles. We're crossing into San Miguel County too. Alright, looks like we have a little bit of a parking lot waiting situation. Thank you. Alright, definitely can tell already that this side is going to be more difficult than the other one coming up, but nothing too crazy. Steering feels pretty loose. Just having to pick a couple of lines, but coming up this would probably be easier than going down this. Don't want to bog the front wheel down and get caught on a rock. Make a sudden emergency stop. But I can see why people kind of get worked up about it. But it looks like it's only this little section here. But honestly, it's not too bad, especially there's no switchbacks. And it's a pretty short section where it's a little rough. If it was like Mosquito, that'd be another story, but it's not nearly as wallowed out. One little turn down there. Oop. Alright, a little muddy. There are some other bikes on the way. Seems like people are struggling down there. That was not too bad. That part up there was worse. Let's go on the far side. Cheers, guys. But yeah, if this is your first time in Colorado doing these trails, I understand it. I had to switch back over to this side. That's beautiful though. I wish I had the drone for that stuff here. Alright. Alright, we'll keep this train going. Beautiful trail, honestly. I love it. But if you're not used to exposures or Colorado trails, it probably is a little bit more poo your pant kind of trail. I am getting a little warm. It looks like it's gonna mellow out up there. Well, that was a lot of fun. So 7 minutes down from the top to this part where it gets mellow. 15 minutes up from the other side. That was the last big passes of the trip for the Colorado BDR. Great choices on the passes. Definitely don't skip them. Work on the skill level or get a lighter bike, but definitely do them. The bypass is terrible. It's boring. So don't bypass them. Plan maybe some extra time to get through them, but so worth it. Definitely easier south to north, with the exception of probably Ophir, but Ophir wasn't like that challenging, to be honest. A little water crossing. Nice little creek running down the side of the trail. Fast flowing water. Nice. The last of the snow melt. There's a little town called Ophir too. I didn't realize that. Since 1881. But where are we at? Yeah. Same, like 15 minutes up, 15 minutes down to the main parts. Nothing too crazy. And we continue our way to Telluride. But we're gonna go into Telluride, get some gas, take a break, and then keep pushing towards Dolores Cortez. Did better on time than I thought. It's only 12:30 and it's 13 miles of easy roads to Telluride, so we'll be alright. Hopefully these bikers get down Ophir okay. Seem to be a little worried. Me cruising by them pretty quickly, maybe it helped kind of take the fear out of it, or it maybe made it worse for them. I don't know. Hopefully it helped a little bit, showing that there's not too much to worry about. Down in the little valley, Telluride. Straight in the valley, you see a little waterfall coming up. That's Bridal Veil Falls and Black Bear Pass going down. To the left up is Imogene Pass. And this is the end of section 2 of the Colorado BDR. It is shortly before 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Took a total of 4.5 hours from Lake City, with plenty of drone stoppages, a crash, and other little breaks, so nothing too crazy. So from here we're gonna start jumping onto section 1. We're soldiering on. Had a quick gas station sandwich, something to drink, and some gas, obviously. So from here on, it would be 130 miles to Four Corners, but we're not going to Four Corners. We're going to Cortez, which should be about half that. Just eyeballing it on the map, but who knows. Alright, we're getting close to the turnoff here outside of Telluride to the next trail. Beginning of section 1. Well, the end of section 1, riding towards the beginning. But I don't know what to expect from this trail, so I'll find out together. Nice little fast roads here. Incredible views from up here. That house, man, I'm jealous. That would be amazing. Nice little ranch property with one of the best views in the entire country. Nice big forest trail so far. We are going right. Definitely a little bit of a network of trails out here too. Oh, it looks a little muddy, judging by all the tracks. Huh. Going through the middle is probably better than going through the side. This area is so beautiful in the fall. I was riding the other, the similar trail that runs almost parallel here, with all the colors and leaf changes and stuff. It was just incredible. Honestly, I would say riding in September would be the perfect time for the Colorado BDR. It's cool at night, you don't have any humidity issues. The leaf changes are in full force out here, and it's stunningly beautiful. The main season of all the off-roading is kind of over, so you're not going to have that many people on the trail. Definitely climbing again. I'll see if we go into that high plateau, like I did on the other track. I think it comes together right around the area around Groundhog Reservoir, which was where we camped on the Red Rocks mountaintops, and I almost froze to death at night. So when you realize your 30-degree sleeping bag is not comfortable at 30 degrees, it feels like you're dying. It's survival rating, not comfort rating. So get a bag that's at least 20 degrees warmer than the lowest that you expect to see on the trail. Little life pro tip. Learned that one the hard way. The next day went out to Moab because we're staying out near Monticello, and got myself a decent sleeping bag. quite a few miles later, and we're still riding through forest. But at least this time it's pretty aspen forest, and the road has calmed down a little bit. Still got probably around 30 or so miles to go. Hard to say. What a view though. Look at that. Incredible views of the San Juans. Alright, so this intersects with Groundhog Road. So this is the road that I took on Red Rocks Mountaintops, also in Telluride, which I reckon is the better road. It's more scenic and it's nicer to ride. So might be a good alternative for that section that we just came from. Almost at Groundhog Reservoir. I remember these roads well. When we arrived, it was already getting dark. Of course, it was in September. And temperatures dropped into the low 20s at night, which is very unexpected. And I had every layer I could imagine on, curled in my sleeping bag and just shivering all night like crazy. Beautiful area. There it is, Groundhog. Man, it brings back some memories. Oh, that was a crazy trip. Broke my foot on it in Utah, and then rode for multiple days with a broken foot, still back to Lake City, through the Uncompahgre Plateau, Ophir Pass, Engineer Pass. So straight ahead or the right, this takes you to Utah, or Norwood for the Red Rocks Mountaintops, right? And this way to Dolores and Cortez. And it is getting pretty warm again. So getting lower in altitude. I mean, it's still 8,000 feet, but we're in the high 80s now, temperature-wise. I almost missed this little exit. Oh, these are massive ruts. And here I thought we were done. Nice 90-degree heat doing some rough roads, why not? There's a little hill climb here. Not that little. Alright. That was a little rough. Beautiful Alpine Lake. slightly green. This is, well, I mean, it would make sense, but feels like New Mexico riding when at the CDT. And we're so close to the New Mexican border, I guess that would track. Oof. That was a massive hole. Oh man, almost. That would have sucked. Turning off yet again on a little trail, I think. Ugh, look at this. Oh boy. Look how deep these ruts are. It's crazy. Do not travel here when it's wet. Don't do it. You're gonna regret it. I'm coming out on a normal road. I am kind of glad to see it, because I am getting warm. Way too warm. And we are done with trails for today. Well, for this trip. This wraps up the trail riding for the Colorado BDR. This is the small little community of Dolores, right on the Dolores River. Well, I don't know if you can hear anything, but it's extremely windy out, getting blown all over the road. But we're arriving into Cortez, which is where I'll be concluding today's trip and this season of the Colorado BDR. From here it would be an hour ride on just roads down to Four Corners to the official ending point, but I already gave you my reasons. So for that we're gonna stop it here. Alright, debrief for today. So today we covered sections 2 and section 1 for the most part of the Colorado BDR. This morning started out in Lake City, was all geared up, ready to go by 7 or so. Went outside with full gear on, and I see black clouds right over the San Juans. So I wasn't gonna risk it, so I delayed it. I couldn't leave till about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Went on Cinnamon Pass. Cinnamon is always fun. It's a fairly straightforward and easy one. The only thing even remotely challenging are some switchbacks that are a little bit rocky. But got some good drone footage there too. Rode over Cinnamon. From there dropped back down into Animas Forks. It's a little ghost town in the central of the San Juan trails. And then worked my way up to California. California I was a little bit worried about, just because when I did it a couple years ago there was some really nasty switchbacks, but they must have graded them because nothing there, was fairly uneventful. but beautiful, beautiful looks. So got some good drone footage up there. Switched over to Hurricane Pass, which was a fun ride. It's pretty close to California. And then eventually made my way towards Corkscrew. And that's where things started to get wrong a little bit. On the way up to Corkscrew, drone just disappeared. And usually like the tablet or the beacon that I use will tell you, but nothing. It was just, everything was gone. Like it didn't exist. So I parked the bike on a very steep part of the trail because it's all steep from there, and I wasn't gonna walk a quarter mile at altitude with my bike gear on. And I found the drone just sitting on the side of the road. Hoped initially that it just landed because it got out of range, but yeah, not doing too hot. So it is, I mean, even the metal frame is broken, so it's completely destroyed, unfortunately. I have no idea what caused it. It didn't crash anywhere. There were no trees that it could flown into. It just fell out of the sky. So I'm gonna follow up with the drone manufacturer and see if we can get it fixed. But sadly, it's not gonna be cheap. But anyways, collected the drone, started driving again. There was one turn on Corkscrew coming from the northern side that I was worried about, and exactly as predicted, I went around that turn, stopped for a second just to look at it. Bike kind of tilted by just an inch to the wrong side. I couldn't get my foot down, tipped over on a slope. A little bit of a pain in the ass to get it back up, but I mean, only crash of the trip, so I can't complain. And I mean, it was a tip over, not really a crash. But made it over there. That tip over though was fairly violent apparently, because it hit like the peak of the handlebar, and it made the steering dampener jump out of its pin, and then it shifted the entire fork and triple clamps to the side, so it was completely out of whack for steering. But I made it down the pass. Assessed it. I loosened up the triple clamps and the stem clamp bolt and kind of moved it around, and that reset the steering normal. At the top of the pass, I also quickly just reinserted the stem for the steering dampener, so it drives perfectly fine now. But so made it over Corkscrew, jumped on $1 million highway, made our way to Ophir. Never been in Ophir before. It was pretty easy riding from this side, so heading north to south. Took me, what was it, 7 minutes? No, yeah, 7 minutes I think, or something like that crazy. No, it was 15 minutes up to the top of Ophir from the road, and then 7 minutes down to where it wasn't challenging anymore. So the way up was completely easy. Graded road, nothing there at all. Way down was a little bit more challenging, loose big rocks, but very indicative of a lot of the trails, the standard San Juan trails, really. I wouldn't consider it one of the difficult passes, but it wasn't necessarily one of the easy ones. On the way down, I overtook a couple of riders that were having some trouble getting down, so hopefully just seeing me flying down there just made it a little, dispelled the fear a little bit. But made it down there into the tiny town of Ophir, and then eventually over to Telluride. Got Telluride around 1 o'clock or so, got some gas, some snacks, and then headed over to the last leg, which was 70-80 miles of just dirt road. It varied from really easy rated dirt road to really bumpy, annoying kind of dirt road. But once we made it to Groundhog Reservoir, it got really fast for a while, and then there were 2 sections where all of a sudden it just took us on like little tiny 2 tracks that were really muddy and really rough, which I was a little surprised by, but was fun nonetheless. It was just really hot. But now got into Cortez, where I'll stop the Colorado BDR. So today was the last day. No real point of going down to Four Corners and back. It's just an hour riding on the road back and forth. So, but yeah, this is the Colorado BDR. This is the Colorado BDR series. Hope you enjoyed it. I sure did. It was a lot of fun riding. Finally got that one down in the books. I rode a lot of the Colorado trails, but never did the complete BDR. So yeah, it was a really good trip out. I think the best time would probably be like mid-September or so. No more humidity, no more big storms, and the colors are beautiful, and temperatures coming down too. So from here, let's see what we'll do next. So hopefully I get this video out there soon enough.